Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. This particular video is about a target that was imaged way back in March at the beginning of this year, and it's kind of taken this long to get around to getting the image out and finally getting around to do the video. And it basically started after I got contacted by another astrophotographer down in Christchurch called Chester Hall-Fernandez, and he got hold of me and said, hey, do you want to do a collaboration on an area near the Carina Nebula? And I thought, yep, that would be great. Now, any of you who have been following Bray Falls videos probably have seen a video done not so long ago where Chester and Bray were working together to find some brand new areas of nebulosity, some new discoveries. And so in this particular case, Chester had found this particular area that was present in a couple of images in HA, one in a very wide field sort of survey, black and white of HA, and you can see some of the HA sort of structure, but very wide field. And there's another image that I've seen again showing some of the HA there, but obviously again a much wider field of view, so hard to see all the detail there. But to our knowledge, nobody has actually ever imaged the oxygen 3 component in here. And so our task was to try and image this with more detail in both HA and O3 to pull out this basically newly discovered O3, I guess, component of this area in the sky. And it happens to be right next to quite a nice little star cluster, NGC 3114, so that provided another little bit of interest in the image. Now, I did do a bit of recording with Chester over Zoom. Unfortunately, actually I think it was over Discord, but unfortunately I had some technical difficulties and there ended up being quite a bit of echo of Chester's audio. I don't know exactly what happened, but so the next bit that follows, apologies to Chester, sorry, it doesn't sound as good as it should, but I've tried to clean up the audio as much as possible to get rid of the reverb and the echo. Yeah, my apologies to the viewers if it's hard to hear, but I have provided in a few subtitles so that you can see exactly what he's saying. But anyway, we'll get on to that part of the video. Well, yeah, I was just sort of thinking, so we did this, because I look back and we actually did this back in March. Yeah. Because if anybody who ends up watching the video goes, hang on a minute, this target's not up at the moment. It's like this has been sitting percolating for a while. So I brought up that image. I've got this image that you sent me, that gigapan thing. So I looked at this here, and so the area, so this is quite an impressive thing. This is about 250 hours, isn't it?
This guy's not ridiculous if you look at his other images.
Yeah. And I was zooming in and having a look, and if I got this right, we imaged this area right over here.
Yeah.
Which, interestingly enough, so we've got, just for the purposes of the video for people, Running Chicken, Statue of Liberty, and Carina. And then this thing's over here. Looks like there's something sort of running around here. Is this a connection, do you think?
I do definitely see that loop. I was trying to figure out what it was. Like,
yeah.
Is it some sort of like SNR bubble or something?
It's huge if it is.
The region is such a mess, it's going to be basically impossible to tell.
Yeah.
But I think one day I'd like to get some like 135 mil shot of because that'd be awesome.
It would look impressive. So you suggested we do this, and what made you choose this area with regards to the O3? Because there's obviously some HA seen here, because there's an HA mosaic, isn't it?
Yeah. When I was working with I was doing some oxygen panels, looking for uncatalogued nebulae. And I noticed this like O3, very distinct 3 in that area. And I was like, oh, what's this? And then, you know, you do some research, you find the cluster's name, and you do some looking at some images, and there's basically no images of this cluster. I don't think we've seen one even with the HA yet.
Right.
The O3 had never been photographed before intentionally. So just kind of I wouldn't say it's the analog, but it's still pretty neat that no one has actually photographed it before.
Yeah, and it's actually quite a cool looking image there, even with the HA, because the HA's got quite a nice sort of a interesting pattern to it in the background. Then you've got this sort of ribbony O3 sort of sitting over the top. So
it looks strikingly like the Broom.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, like that, yeah. That was all those parts of the Veil Nebula.
Yeah, it's even got that little like nose down at the front. So we could call it the Southern Witch Broom or something.
Okay, so it made sense for Chester to collect the O3 because he was down in Bortle 1 to 2 skies, and I concentrated on the HA because I was imaging from here at home with my Bortle 5-6 skies, and I also collected some shorter images for RGB stars. Now, we ended up collecting about 17 hours or just over of each HA and O3 to give around 34 hours of total integration time. And I'll show you first the HA, and you can appreciate this is a very dense star field. So, you know, the structure in here, it's quite fine, sort of filamentous looking structure, which you need to try and tease out from this very dense star field in the background and some very bright stars. And it did prove to be quite a challenge because one of the slight problems, in particular with Star Exterminator, is that when you've got very fine filamentous structure, it can get a little bit confused. It can start to take out some of these fine filaments, and the result once you've done star extermination can be quite disappointing because suddenly you see all these holes in your nebulosity. So it did prove quite a challenge, and did a lot of masks and things like that to try and protect things as much as possible. But you know, I think maybe some of it did end up getting removed. It was really hard to tell in the end because you can see it's quite fine and faint in the background. The O3 here, again, lots and lots of stars, and there's very fine sort of filaments of O3 with the background star field. And then up here was the star cluster NGC 3114, which kind of had this quite interesting sort of drooping, or these arms coming off it. And I have seen it described as the spider cluster, which I kind of think is an appropriate name, really. So that was our data, and then we had to try and process and combine it and come up with a final image. Now, this is my final version here, which I was quite pleased with. It certainly was, as I said, quite a challenge to try and keep all this filamentous detail, if you like, in the nebula whilst sort of removing the stars and bringing the stars back in. And you can see the star cluster up here, which is quite nice. There's nice coloured stars in the background. That's where the RGB stars worked quite well. If I just move in here, you can see there's this sort of quite cool undulating and overlapping structure to the HA, which I haven't seen. I've seen one other image that was taken much sort of wider field, and you could sort of see a line type structure to it, but I'm not aware of another image that shows the HA with this very nice sort of overlapping, folded, intersecting nebulosity going on. And the other thing was that we have been unable to find an image at all showing the O3. I don't think there is anything out there that we're aware of showing the presence of the O3 in this particular area. And one thing that Chester noted, as you saw from the conversation, was that he thought it looked very reminiscent of the Witch's Broom Nebula in the Northern Hemisphere, which I've borrowed an image here off Wikipedia. And I'll put the name of the person, I can't remember who it is, whose photograph, who owns this, but you can sort of see quite a similarity. There's this little sort of dippy bit here, the way that sort of dips over there. It's a combination of OIII and HA, and although that's a bright star on this little sort of bulge here, there's a bright planetary nebula just on this little bulge as well. So you can kind of see why we decided, we agreed to the name of the Southern Witch's Broom Nebula. Now there are a couple of other interesting features in here. There was this planetary nebula here, which is known, but I thought it was quite cool. I mean, it's very bright, so it was really hard to get some structure in the center here, but there are a couple of sort of what look like sort of spirally arms coming off it. And I did some research, and if I can just bring up that information. So I looked at a couple of sky surveys. So this is Aladdin, and typed in the name of the planetary nebula, PK283-04.1, and this is what it showed. And you can kind of see it's quite bright, and you can kind of get the impression that there's little arms coming off here. I also looked at the CDS portal. Again, same information typed in, and you can kind of start to see that there might be a bit of structure going on here, and again there's something going on around the outside here. And then finally, Legacy Survey Browser here showed even more detail of this known planetary nebula, which obviously will be interesting to image with a much longer focal length telescope, but that was well beyond our reach with our telescopes. So that was a couple of interesting that was an interesting little planetary nebula in there. The other thing is there was another one over here, and there's this one here, more of a red blob, but this one is called, or given the name of, PN, or Planetary Nebula, G284.0-04.7. So not a very inspiring name. But they were both known planetary nebulae, so not new discoveries, but it was quite exciting to bring out some nebulosity that's never been imaged before, with particularly the OIII, but also highlighting the nice sort of structure to the OIII and the HA. Well, look, I hope you found that video interesting. Imaging an area of nebulosity that's, as far as we can tell, never been imaged before, at least the OIII component, and certainly the HA component, the amount of detail in there, we haven't found another image like it either. So I wouldn't call it a new discovery, but certainly the OIII component, you could consider that, since nobody's imaged it before. I'd want to say thanks very much to Chester for bringing me on board with this project. It was a lot of fun. It has taken a while to get this video out, but it's out now, so that's good. And you know, hopefully other people in the future will image this area, and with any luck, the name of the Southern Witch's Broom Nebula will stick. We'll see. Time will tell. Look, if you've enjoyed this video, give it the old thumbs up, that would be great, and leave a comment below, and I will try to answer every single comment. Thanks very much to everybody who's been watching the channel and following the videos and commenting. It's all really appreciated. And until next time, I'll leave you with the image of the Southern Witch's Broom Nebula, and I wish everybody lots and lots of clear skies.
Sientes el efecto, sé que no soy solo yo. Algo tan perfecto nunca puede ser, tan ser un error. No, porque no puedo dejar de ver la gente bailar más lento, y el ruido de fondo se apaga de pronto. decir